Welcome to my first ever YouTube video in my new yoga studio. So I took some time to create a happy space in my house in order to teach yoga and to practice yoga myself. So for today's short video, I wanted to post about creating a happy space and then how to come to a comfortable seat, which is kind of a big foundation of meditation and yoga. So I want to pass that along to you so you feel like you have something you can start with at your own house. So when creating a space, you have options. You have options for if you want music in this space or if you don't. Depending on the day, depending on what mood you're in or what you need out of a practice is how you decide if you want some background noise or if you want to practice in silence. But those are options for you. You can also do incense, oils, perfumes, sprays. Those can help if you're feeling sad. Just get a little bit of orange, even take an actual orange, and you can just cut the flesh and smell it. And any sort of scent is going to create a reaction in your brain. So you can invite that into your meditation practice as well, or not. If you are an overly stimulated person to begin with, then maybe bringing extra stimulus isn't exactly what you need. So that's something to consider as well. Third, a journal. So I always suggest having a journal nearby so you can jot down any information that keeps coming to your brain. Any sort of artistic idea that you have or any deep thought that you just feel like you want to remember. That's great to write down during your meditation so you can get it off your head and onto paper so you can continue to work towards silence. Finally, you can think about things around you. So you want a comfortable mat as your base. This one is a Manduka. It's like a 2mm, I think. It's really thick and good for joints. It's like a lifetime warranty mat that I plan on just using for a long time. So it's an investment for sure, something worth saving up for. If you don't have a mat, you can obviously use towels or some sort of a carpeted area, but just be aware of how hard it is underneath. If you take your knuckles and you hit, you don't want it to hurt. So that's for any sort of pressure that you need to relieve. And then finally, you can have props. So towels to sit on, to lift your hips up higher, to cover yourself up with if it's cold. Just use it in any way that you seem to need it. Your body will just gravitate towards it. Some sort of a pillow. So this is a bolster from Manduka. It's like a rectangle. They make circular ones. You can use a pillow off your couch. You can fold up more blankets. Just something to use as a prop to lay on or to lean back on, put under your head, put under your knees. There's a million different ways to use it. Finally, you can use yoga blocks, or I've seen people get creative and use things around the house. So this is a yoga block that I have from also Manduka. I got them all Black Friday one year, just like the whole package. But these are really great. You can order them online pretty cheap, or you can just get creative, use some like books around your house, or if you have thick stacks of stuff, that'll do. Just make sure it doesn't slide. You can invite anything else into your space that you'd like, whether that be dumbbells. I have a foam roller, stretchy bands. I have these grip strengtheners. Any sort of exercise that you crave or go to that involves some sort of a prop, you can bring that into your happy space. So I usually have a candle in a corner, some sort of rock or earth nearby. So I like to kind of keep the elements in my room. I do have like some pretty crystals that I feel like really ground some of my practices that I usually keep on hand as well. Okay, so that was a lot. That's about creating a happy space, creating a room that is dedicated to your personal growth. It's a safe place. It is somewhere that you can lay comfortably and be comfortably in your own home. Okay, so next I want to talk about coming to a comfortable seat. So as I'm sitting right here in Sukhasana, which is easy pose, the knees just out to the side, legs gently crossed. It's natural. This is kind of what you go to your natural seated position. There's also Siddhasana, which is a little bit different. You're just going to take one of the feet up into, like in line with the shin, so it's kind of resting up on your thigh here. And it's just one. So a lot of you are thinking maybe about lotus pose, where you pull the foot all the way up into the hip crease and then eventually the other one over as well. That's extremely advanced. This is going to be just a beginner's setting up your space, preparing yourself for a comfortable seat. So you can choose whichever pose works for you. So having one of the legs stacked or just a simple easy seat here. So go ahead and experiment with that as well. From here, you want to be on the sits bones. So you'll feel it if you lean slightly back, you'll feel the two bones of the hips. So if you need to move any of your skin or just your fleshy parts like away so you can feel that connection to your sits bones, I encourage you to play around with that feeling as well. So once you have the sits bones grounded, so you feel them both connected to the mat, your knees are just slowly melting away, so down towards the mat. And you'll find that as your knees slowly melt away, your torso and your midsection gently roll back. So it's a beautiful push and pull right there. It's a very calming pose. I just naturally begin to calm down. So this is the basis of it. This gentle cross-legged position, shoulders back over hips, belly in nice and tight to support the spine from curving forward and shoulder blades down the back. From here, you can begin to take deep breaths. This is kind of where a seated position begins. Now, this might not look like it, but this is actually a yoga pose. So this is an asana in and of itself. Just like standing on one leg with your foot in your hand up in the air is a yoga pose, this is also the most basic yoga pose. Easy sitting pose. And just like all yoga poses, you should hold this pose for as many deep breaths as it feels for you to release. So just begin there. Deeply breathing. Losing my voice, I'm so sorry about that. So now you've learned your first yoga pose, the easy seated pose. Take about 5 to 10 good breaths here. For a beginner, you could set a timer and stay here for about 1 to 5 minutes. And for a more experienced, so after you've really mastered the 1 to 5 minutes, you can experience this for 5 to 10 minutes. Just deeply breathing or letting go of tension in an easy seated position. Focusing on the spine nice and tall, keeping that posture throughout every breath. So go for 5 breaths, go for 10 breaths, and then start doing 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just exploring how long you can just sit and breathe and not worry about anything else. And that is the most basic foundation to yoga. So go ahead and try that out, experience it. Let me know what you think, and namaste, y'all.